Hi there, this is Karin in Sweden with part 2 of how to needle felt and wet felt a gnome with armature. So this was the armature. And when you saw me do the first part, then I made a little push on a roll, but you can, of course, if you have long enough leg, you can wrap the wool around it so that you don't have to add that little extra, like I did on some of them. It depends on how big tush you want it to have. So I have only made one gnome ever in this way, so it's a bit courageous and maybe stupid to do a tutorial when I actually still experiment, but it's a kind of inspiration more than this is how you do it. I will probably look back on this and think, okay, I did it like that, then now I have developed techniques, so maybe I'll do more new tutorials. So this is the first house gnome that I made. I call them house gnomes because I don't really want them to be only Christmas Santas, little Santas. I want them to feel welcome all year, so I don't want them all like red. So the first part was how to do the armature and attach the head, and this is about dressing it. And I have wet felted I think it was 15 templates with this is merino wool and linen flax fibers to make it a little curly, to make it feel like fur. And this is just brown merino, and this is pure Corriedale. And you can put silk in it for texture, you can put viscose, you can put anything in it to make it more fun if you want, or you can have it just plain. And you don't need to have merino, you can do it with batting or whatever you have at home. I have made, it's something between pre-felt and a very soft felt. And the reason for this is that I want to, first of all, be able to heal the edges a little better. Like when I have cut the sweater on this, then of course the edge that was already wet felt, that is, you know, the edge of the bat or the template is healed, but where I cut it, it will be open and frizzy. So I put some olive soap on the edges and just rubbed it so that it will be a little healed, which is easier if it's soft, because if it would have been fully felted, then it would probably have been a bit more difficult. And I also want it to be soft because I want to attach it with needle felting. So I want the fibers to be loose enough to go into the body. And of course you can sew clothes, you can have any material you want to and make very elaborate clothes. You can make like little leather shoes, and you can play so much with this. In the doll tutorial by Living Felt that I told you about, the last episode, or maybe last 2 episodes, they talk about clothings and how to make templates and stuff like that. So if you're into doll clothes, then look at that. But as I said, I am going to keep this very simple because I want to be able to sell them for a reasonable price and therefore not spend too many hours on them. So let's start with the shoes. And actually the shoes are what takes me most time. When I do the body, it's loose because I will be covering it in clothes and the armature will hold it up. Usually I'm all for hard felting. So when you squeeze it, it's like, you know, you don't want it to be fluffy at all. But then you have to ask yourself, why do I do this? Is it because it's just habit, or does it have any purpose? And in this case, I really don't see any reason to do the body too firm, because, as I said, the armature will hold it up and the clothing will hide everything. And also, if it's reasonable soft, then it's easier to attach the clothing. If it's too hard, then you won't get room for these fibers to stick to it. So the shoes first. How did I do that? First, I took some yarn. I happen to have brown yarn, but you don't have to. You can take any yarn that has fibers. Cotton is not good because that will stuck on your needle, but acrylic is okay, or if you have any kind of wool yarn that you don't want to do anything else with. Then I wrapped it tight around the fluffy feet to sort of make them a little bit more compact first. And then I took some brown, which was the color I chose for the shoes. You can have, of course, any color you want, and just wrap it around, and then you needle felt around. So this is a start. And when you do this, then you have to be careful, because you do have the armature very close. So be light on your hand and choose the needle that you think is suitable. Maybe a 38 first to sort of gather it together, and then you go towards 40 and maybe even 42 gauge to get it firm and even. Some people use low quality needles for when you needle felt close to armature, and of course you can do that if you have those needles lying around that you bought cheap from, I'm not going to mention any online overseas stores in case they will sue me, but if you buy from outside Europe or America, then you have to be careful, because the quality is often not good at all. And this is like the next step when you have got it together a little bit more. And these are what I think is good felted boots. Every part of this gnome that shows, I want it to be firm felted, because I don't want it to get all frizzed up when you handle it. It will maybe eventually, since it is wool and it is a living material, but I couldn't leave it like this, because it just looks so bad quality. And to do these shoes actually do take me a couple of hours. So take your time and work on the shoes if you want them to be good. Or you can make little leather shoes, or you can make canvas shoes. Of course, you don't have to needle felt it, but that's how I did. And then for the hands, I can show you the hands, the mittens. As I showed you on the last episode, I put core wool over the edge, and this is, I will leave a little fluff here, and this is to attach the hands. And I had someone with just one hand. Here he is. And when I do the mittens, I use this flower stick. You can have a round one if you want. Someone use like barbecue, but they are often a bit too slippery. So flower sticks are actually better, I think. And then I will look how long do I want it, like this. And I take some wool that shouldn't be too shiny, if you see what I mean, because then it will just glide around. And you pull it tight, and as you see, you wrap the stick rather than wrap the wool around. And when you have a mitten like this, approximately the same length, you can dry felt it a little in your hand to make it even tighter. I have to say that the Living Felt MC1 is perfect for this because it will felt very good to itself. So when you do that, you push it off. Don't pull it off because then it will unwrap in a curl. You push it off, and then you can shape it a little, and then you take, I think a 38 is quite good for attaching, and you put it on the hand or the arm or the wrist, and then you just attach it with a needle like that. I think the 38 is a great attaching needle when you want to join limbs and such. And when you want to make the thumb, you can just make a little roll like that and put it on there in the same way with a 40 needle. I would suggest for this one because we're starting to get into details now. So that's how I make the hands. If you want to make fingers, then do watch that doll tutorial because they give a fantastic lesson about hands and how to attach them. Now for the trousers. Then I tried the simplest possible way to put trousers on these, and that was to just measure a square, measure around like a skirt, and of course you could do a skirt if you want to, or a kilt if you want to make a Scottish house gnome. Wow, I want to do that. That would be fun, wouldn't it? So you wrap it around to see that it would cover the whole, and then I cut it in the middle, and I put him, I look where the boots end, like there, and I put him on the slice. And then I just wrap around like this and like this. And there you have the trousers. And it doesn't matter if it's not even up here because it's going to have a shirt like. And then you needle felt it in place with the 38 to start. And if you want to have a little more what do you call it when you fold the trousers like that, you can do that if you want. So I think this must be the simplest way to do trousers on a gnome, and it will look like this when you have needle felt it. I needle felt a bit here and around here and here, and I pretend that it doesn't feel anything. So now for the shirt, and again I want it to be as simple as possible. So I made a shirt for this one. I measured so that it would be covering the back, because I don't want this. You want to cover it here and a bit in the front, and also check where should the head stick up. And it's just a square that I healed a little bit, as I told you. And then I just put it on. Like this. And if you want, of course, you can cut this. And you can sew, you can needle felt. But to save time, I will just do like this. I will fold the arms there. And I will needle felt around the wrists and around here to make it stick, and a bit here also to make it stick. And if someone who buys this wants to open the arms, then well, they will tear it apart a bit. So this is the simplest way that I could find. And you can have so much fun with these textiles. You can make them curly, you can make them wavy, you can make them spotted, you can make them striped, anything. And then the hair. Maybe you don't want hair. This one, the colleague saw this and said, oh my gosh, he's so cute without hair. And I thought, well, you know, I have to try to give him hair, but she was right. This one did not want hair. Maybe he has hair under here, you know, a really short one, or maybe he doesn't. So this one is without. But this one screamed for long brown locks. And this is actually a kind of sheep wool that I got that is perfect for hair. So you can use sheep locks in any color, like you can have the whites, or you can use merino tops for hair, or you can use Corriedale or any kind of long staple fiber. You can make your dreadlocks if you want. If you have yarn, you can do quite fun hairdo, and you can use any kind of luster fiber like viscose or bamboo, or this is silk. You can have so much fun with the hair. And I had prepared the hair, yes I did. And if you want a hat on it, which I think I want on all of them, then it's no big deal to attach the hair. You just take what you want, put it where you want, and take a needle. Again, I take the 38, and then you just attach it. Because on the head, it doesn't have to be fancy, since you're going to cover it with a hat. If you don't want a hat, however, then there's a really good trick for making a good, to not have it look like this. And also if you want to make a beard, which I had planned to prepare, but I forgot, so I have to improvise this. This little fellow can have a white beard. And then you do not put it like this. You put it upside down, like that, towards the eye, and then you needle felt it in place. And you fold it down, because then you won't get this sharp edge. It would be a soft edge to the hair. The same thing if you want to do like this, then you can put it in one direction. You needle felt it like this, and then you fold it over, and then you will get a nice soft line there. Also with the merino top, like you could attach it in the middle like that, and then fold it. This is a funky Santa. Now, where were we? We were at the hat, or you can also make, I never do mouths, almost never do mouths. Of course you can do that. If you want to hide that you're not doing a mouth, then do a big scarf and put like that. This one I have crocheted, but you can wet felt a little and cut a small slice, or whatever you want. You can knit a little something. And this is also to cover this area which has been cut, if you don't want that to be shown. And then I just put it there and needle felt it in place. As for the hat, also a very simple hat, just a square of something. And I used to fold the edge a little bit, so that it will be an even smooth edge there, and decide where I want to have it. Like that. And then I will just needle felt it in place. First I attach it around the head, decide how much of the eyes I want to show, how much of the hair, like that. I got a 2 course needle there, I changed to the 40. And this part you can just fold however you want. On this one, I think I will do stitches, maybe, to make a little tassel up there, or you could just wrap it and get a little pointy end there. And if you want it to point up, then keep it that way. If you want to point it down, then you can needle felt it in any direction you want. And if you want to have it like that, you needle felt in the direction that you want to keep it. So this is how I made these little gnomes. And this is just a very simple basic. You can add many things. You can have jewelry, you can make him hold something. Maybe you want to hold a flower pot with a lot of flowers in it, or whatever. So if you want to contact me, then this is both my Swedish homepage and it's also my business page on Facebook. So on Facebook, if you search for karriad.se, then you will find me there, and you will get to see all the other gnomes when they're finished. Or if you have any tips or any questions, then just contact me, and I love to see your creations. Thank you and good luck and have fun. Bye.